Shalom, Mishpaka, and welcome back. All right, guys, this is what I'm looking at. If you recall, when I did the video about Atomic Holocaust, I told you there was a few tables that I had. It's probably been maybe a dozen in the couple of years that I've been doing this, that there's been actually someone else working on the very same table. This is one of them. The Axis term is Mashiach, and Elijah is the actual access term, and I'll show you. It only appears one time in the code. So if more than one code searchers are looking for Mashiach and Elijah, then guess what? You'll find the same table, and it's here only one time. You can see it at skip of 2058. So it's not surprising. It is not that big of a deal that myself and Ben Ezra found the same table. Now, he had some words in here that I didn't have, and I have words and phrases that he doesn't have. But it's the very same table. And I think it's very significant, folks. You know, you would not have led me to see that someone was working on the very same table I was working on the very same night. The odds of that is incredible. But this is what we came up with. And the title of this that Lewis gave it was The Coming of the Snake. And the reason for that is because right next to, in the black and red letters you can see there, is the phrase, the coming of the snake. Now, who is the snake? Well, he is the evil enemy. You can see here at a very small skip, and I think it's maybe 7 or 8 letters, the evil enemy right here. Now, I want you to notice how these things kind of come to an angle and right angles here. It all seems to kind of concentrate right here. Obama's name is vertical, right under, in the very same column as Mashiach and Elijah. His name is both first name, Barak, down at the bottom, and capping the top, Barak. Why is that? Well, Satan wanted to exalt himself above Yahuwah's throne. But you remember what Yeshua said, or what said about Yeshua, that he would come and crush the head of the snake. And look at this. Yeshua standing on the head of the snake right there. We have the wrath of Yahuwah, and there's also a star with the Vav connecting to the actual Axis term, Kachav. Wormwood was very present, very significant present in this. We also had the Moedim, the appointed time. Yahuwah always works in appointed times. He is not random. He has a timeline. Just like Yeshua would say, it is not my time yet. It's because he was on a time schedule. Now, the 2 dates that was in here, 2 years, 2015 and 2016. 2015 is not real impressive. I mean, it has good proximity to the Axis term, but the smallest skip is actually 2016. You can see this 2016 here, and it's also, just like in the NIBIRU table, 2016 written backwards in the plain text. We've got the 2 witnesses, also right above that, and Israel with wormwood is also in there. We also have Dom, which is blood, Irech Emim, which is moon days. So we got blood moon days right there, coming together at a 90-degree angle. All these 90-degree angles. Look at this. In the end of days, which is right here in that scripture, coming at a 90-degree angle is the Shemitah. The Shemitah is for the children of Israel, but it's also a sign and a pattern that Yahuwah has laid out. The sign is 7, or the pattern is 7, excuse me. And you can see there's a series of 7s in here with the word shalom, or rapture, 777. It's also the 7th, and we got Shavuot in here. There is a Jubilee as well. Now just think about this, folks. All of these terms, and I'm talking about in many, many, many letters, which makes it even more impossible that this could happen on accident. When you're dealing with 3 and 4 letters, it's not very significant. And some of you have been watching another channel where he's doing terms where 3 and 4 letters, it's abbreviations. P-values don't, folks, when you're talking about P-values in probability and statistics, you're going to get a lot of hits because those letters have a high p-value. What you see in here is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 letters. 14 letters of a skip, which is, and he's got here the 4 blood moons, which is not exactly correct of what that is. It means, and the coming of the 4 blood moons. There, right on top of the evil enemy, which is connected to Obama's name. The evil enemy. The Vatican, also here. We have 7 stars. It's connected with the Bet in Savot. Stars. Yeshua is also in here connected with the iron in Wormwood. And dragon. Now this is really important because what I did was I went back to some of the tables that I was looking at last year that seemed to have a significance in 2015 and 2016, and that's why I went back to this one, folks. This is an amazing table. The comet there's also a comet in here. You can see there. But dragon was what really sparked my interest, because I've been looking for wormwood for many years, and now dragon is a reference to that. The red dragon, the fiery dragon that is in the heavens. Now, what is that? It's a symbol. That's a sign of something. So I want to take you over to the actual table that I'm working on here. This is it, very same one. It's just blown up. In that table that we were just looking at, I didn't show you Netanyahu's name crossing over Obama right there. Now I went back and looked for NIBIRU in here. Now I want you to notice the resh in dragon, which is the red letters. NIBIRU shares the resh with dragon. It's in the same line. I mean, it is essentially the same skip and same letters that kind of train together, sharing the same letter here. Amazing how that is. Also, I found NIBIRU in the plain text, written forwards, but it's not normally in your text as NIBIRU. This is an anomaly called abacus effect. You know how an abacus has little beads that you slide back and forth. Well, the same thing can happen in Hebrew letters. You can slide one letter back and forth in the line that we're working in, and it'll spell out a word. Not normally there. As you can see, I'll undo this, and you can see it's a combination. And this is where we are right here. You see how we have blue letters, which is a word, and black letters. If you see on my screen here, you got blue and black. If everything was black or everything was blue, you wouldn't be able to tell what words were what. It would just be a continuous stream of letters all the way across. So with the black and blue letters, they're actually broke up. So you can see, and Ezra did this back in the time of Ezra. He went and separated the words. So you see right here, NIBIRU is not here normally. But if we're looking for NIBIRU, guess what? Using the abacus anomaly, it appears. NIBIRU, right there in the plain text. Here is, again, 2016 that appears in this. Now I'm going to leave the actual PDF that we're working from on this. And you can find my stuff done with annotations, at Postscripts. And I'll leave a link for you to go over there and find. Just go to Postscripts from the link, and you'll see where it says codes, not charts, but codes. If you go there, Lewis has got all the tables that I've done with English. Not only that, if you look to the far right of his page, there's also a Bible code app with all of my tables on there that you can have for your iPhone absolutely free. And thank you for whoever did that. I don't know if it was Lewis that did that or somebody Lewis knows that did it. So let's look at the actual verses that we're working from here, which is Bamidbar. We're in the 24th chapter. Just give me a moment here. 24. 14. And now, behold, I go unto my people. Come therefore, and I will advertise to thee. Listen to this now. because this is time specific. This is not 100 years ago. This is not 1,000 years ago. This is time specific to where we are now. We are in the latter days. So when he says here, and now, behold, I go unto my people. Come, therefore, and I will advertise to thee what this people shall do to thy people in the latter days. We're talking about the coming of the snake, the betrayer, the spoiler, the children of Israel, the coming of the snake. And he says here, thousands of years ago, and I mean 4,000 at least, he will show what thy people will do in the latter days. And he took up a parable, and we're talking about the Gentiles. Balaam was a prophet of the Gentiles. So he took up a parable and said to Balaam, the son of Beor, hath said, and the man whose eyes are open hath said. And he said, and he heard the words of Yahuwah, which he knew the knowledge of the Most High. Balaam was a Gentile that knew the Most High. And he saw a vision of the Almighty, falling into a trance, but having his eyes open. And I shall see him, but not now, and I shall behold him, but not nigh. There shall come a star out of Jacob, a scepter that shall rise out of Israel, and he shall smite the corners of Moab, and destroy the children of Sheth. That is also where we have Nibiru and dragon. The dragon is cast out, and he takes the third of the stars, the moon and the stars with him. So, or the third of the moon and stars are smitten, and are there. In other words, there's some sort of impact. Now, if you can attribute the dragon, as if you've seen in Gil Broussard's charts and his studies, which is the great red dragon, you have Nibiru connected to the dragon. And as it comes in, and it brings that debris trail with it, it's going to smite, it's going to impact the sun, moon, and the stars. And when it says stars, I believe it means planets. Chakav is planet, but it also means star. Our planets are moving stars. They have an orbit. So they're going to go through a debris trail, and they're going to be smitten. 1/3, it says, that's going to happen to right through that line there. And I think that was the only one really significant. This one really, I just thought was interesting because it had Yahuwah's name running through it. It also shares a letter with the Hay in 2015. We'll just go ahead and read there anyway. It's Devarim 14:27. And the Levite that is within thy gates, thou shalt not forsake him, for he hath no part nor inheritance with thee. If you remember, the Levites have an inheritance with Yahuwah. Everything from the temple, the offerings that came in, the sacrifices, they would partake of that. That was a part of their inheritance from Yahuwah. They didn't get an inheritance from the tribes. They were set apart and separated from the rest. And it says, and at the end of 3 years, thou shalt bring forth all the tithe of thine increase the same year, and thou shalt lay it upon thy gates. And the Levite, because he hath no part, nor inheritance with thee, and the stranger, and the fatherless, and the widow, and all which is within thy gates shall come, and they shall eat and be satisfied. The Adonai, thy Elohim, may bless thee in all the work of thine hand which thou doest. And this is the work of the priests there, the Levites, taking care of the congregation. They had no inheritance. The fatherless had no inheritance. The widow had no inheritance. All of these had no inheritance. But who takes care of them? Yahuwah. At his house, he takes care of them. All right, now, let me just flip back to the actual... and that's another one I'm working on. We're going to show you some of the things I'm working on before we close out today. But this is the actual Nibiru table that I've posted that actually has the scriptures. I mean, if the model shows, and we go through the stories of the Bible, and there's these things that happen, and what Gila has done is he's painstakingly through time laid out all of these events by the dates, and he layered over that the supposed pattern of Nibiru. They seem to line up, and which is exactly what was pointing out in this table here. When it talks about the sundial or the steps of the the steps that had the sun go back 10 degrees. That's the story here, running right through NIBIRU, which is also connected to Wormwood running through there. But the other thing was 2016 again, written backwards. Something written backwards generally means it has to do with the Gentiles, which is, if you imagine Jerusalem as a center, everything from the right of Jerusalem is from right to left. Everything from the other side is from left to right. When you're writing, if you think about it, all the countries from the left or the right of Jerusalem, they all write backwards compared to what we in the Western countries right, left to right. Here it is. And I said all that, but the point is, there's two things that can happen. It could be from the Gentiles, or it could be a judgment. A negative number it usually indicates a judgment. So we've got 2016 written backwards in the text. I also found judgment, the word judgment, several times here. You can see right there in the green. It's also crossing itself. So, and behold, the days are coming, of course, is there as well. Now, some of the other tables that I've been working on, really cool here. This one, right? This is another one with really amazing vertical anomalies that all come together in this table. We got the end of days down here at the bottom, blood moon, and NIBIRU down at this corner. I mean, if you look at them, they're in the same exact skip. Same exact. That's why they're in an angle. It's very similar because they're exactly the same number. Blood moons and NIBIRU. You've heard me say that I believe that the blood moons were 4 warning signs or 4 stop signs in the heavens that we were to pay attention to. Not saying that something was going to happen on those days, folks. There was nothing in the scriptures that indicate that something will happen on the blood moon days. The blood moons were just for us to pay attention that something is coming that we need to be prepared and be aware of. I find it interesting that blood moon and NIBIRU, very same skip in this table. Are we supposed to be aware of this? And really, folks, I know there's a lot of things on the internet about this, and there's sundogs and lens flares and things like that. But why would the governments of the world be building underground cities? And there's not one maybe an hour from here I saw. And some of the time when I get back up there, I'm going to try to get in that place and take some pictures, folks, so you can see. It's got big turbine windmills outside on the top side of the facility there. But it also has big, huge train like tunnels that goes inside the mountain itself. So this is inside of a mountain, by the way. They're preparing for something. And they're not going to tell you about it. I mean, have you ever seen that movie Deep Impact? I believe it was with Morgan Freeman. And the reporter somehow found out about what was going to happen. In that movie, they were not going to tell anyone until the last minute when you cannot hide it anymore. And why? It's because there would be chaos and panic all over the earth. I mean, you'd have people committing suicide, murdering, doing whatever. So that's why they don't tell us. Now, this is interesting. This is one of the tables Rabbi Glazerson was working on here recently, and I believe the Axis term is he will come in a time of trouble. And that's the Axis term right there. But what was really interesting is the number of vertical anomalies that are there. So right next to the Axis term, we've got Obama's name in the blue right there, with connecting with the word Pharaoh. We also have the son of Jesse. The son of Jesse right there at the Moed, appointed time. We also have the word of Yahuwah, the Bar Yahuwah. Yeshua said, I am the Word. Son of Jesse is the Word. We also have 666, crossing over war, which is, war has appeared normally in these tables. The pattern has been 3 times in the plain text. This instance, it's 3 times encoded in here. So you can see the first one right there, a skip of 1. Then we have 1 going this way, and then we have 1 this way. We also have America running through there. The Mashiach, My Father is a King, and Yeshua vertical, and Yahshua down here. That's the one I'm working on. So I'm reconstructing, and most of these terms, the rabbi had Obama, in a time of trouble he will come, and the son of Jesse. The rest is what I found. And then, of course, I'm back in, and this is, several of you asked me to go back to this one, which is Covenant with Many. So I'm going to do this on another table video, because there's a lot we got to cover here, and we're already at 20 minutes on this one. So, folks, thank you for supporting this ministry. Please thumbs up and share the video. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. You're not going to find any Bible codes like this. This is anointed. Most of the Bible code researchers on the internet are Orthodox or secular Jews, and they will not search past the first 5 books. Myself and maybe one other I know of that are doing codes from a Christian, quote, Christian perspective. I will tell you that one of the things I've been following in this is Rouhani from Iran. He's been doing a lot of traveling here lately and making allies. He appears in this very strongly right across the top there, right with Korea. North Korea is running right through this access terminal. We're going to do this one in another video, of course. As you can see, all the verses that pertain to this are significant. They're all about the end days. And again, the anomalies that happen in this, at this skip of 3666, is beyond probability. This is improbable that this would happen on accident. You will put this here. And he absolutely knew that we were going to have software to discover this, to unlock what is encoded or what is sealed in his word. So again, we'll get into this table in another video. So I just want to close this out, say Yeshua bless you and keep you, and thank you for watching this video.